your spot this weekend. They're heading to their 8th straight AFC Championship game. The Brady and Belichick duo has won 5 Super Bowls together, and if they win on Sunday, they'll go to their 9th Super Bowl. And yesterday, Robert Kraft gave the highest compliment he could possibly give to his quarterback and head coach. Let's hear what he had to say to the media.
Definitely the greatest player of all time, not just quarterback, in my opinion, because he's such a leader in the locker room.
What do you think Bill's legacy would be?
Oh, he's the GOAT of coaches, just like our quarterback is the GOAT of quarterbacks. I mean, and no one can dispute it. I don't think there's been a finer coach in the 99-year history of the league.
Shannon, do you agree with Robert Kraft?
I agree with Coach Mr. Kraft on some of it. Now, I like Mr. Kraft. He's really nice to me, Skip.
Okay.
He liked me. I like Mr. Kraft.
What
He's
a
always
sellout. Yeah.
Just rolling your eyes over here.
Skip. Look, I agree with Coach Belichick. The consistency. 8 straight AFC title games, 13 title games in 18 years. And Skip, free agency. He's made it almost impossible to do what they're doing. The Steelers stayed together. I mean, Skip, you get lucky and you draft Bradshaw and you get Mel Blount and Joe Green and you draft really well. There was no free agency, Skip.
Yep.
So if I offer you $20,000, guess what? Either you accept it or you go sell cars or insurance or sit on your couch. It's not like that anymore. Free agency has made it virtually impossible for you to keep some of your, there's no way, Skip. They had 9 Hall of Famers on that one roster. So let's just say at the end of free agency, are they going to be able to keep Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Swann, John Starworth, Franco, Webster, Joe Green, Mel Blount, Lambert, Ham? Are they going to be able to keep all of them in free agency? Absolutely not. So, but what Coach Belichick was able to do to keep this thing together, coaches have come and gone. Offensive coordinators, he's had 3 or 4 of those. Defensive coordinators, he's had 2 or 3 of those. The one constant has been Coach Belichick and Tom Brady. Now, Coach Belichick does all the shopping. All of it. All the groceries, everything you see on the menu is purchased by Bill Belichick.
You like the groceries now?
Well, no, wait a minute. I'm talking right now. I didn't ask you anything.
I'm just asking a question.
He buys the groceries, Jenny, and everything that you see that comes to the table, who prepared it?
Spoiled rotten.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. There's no way a restaurant can get that kind of bad service and stay open. So he's doing something right. He's absolutely right, Skip. And look, not to discount, and it's hard when you critique, when you say this guy or who's this and who's that, sometimes people think you're taking a shot at someone else. We know what Coach Walsh was able to do. But George Seifert did win 2 more championships after Bill Walsh left. That's true. Now, you go to Coach Lombardi. Coach Lombardi was the offensive coordinator for the Giants when they won the title, I think, Skip, if I'm not mistaken, in '56. A lot of people don't know that he was an offensive coordinator at first. You know who the defensive coordinator was on that Giants team? You know.
It's way before my time.
It was not Tom
I'm
Landry.
not as old as you are.
It was Tom Landry. You know Tony Landry.
Yeah, that's right.
And you know that.
That's right.
But what the success that he had with those 60 Packers, he only coached 9 seasons. I think he only coached 9 seasons in Green Bay, and they won 2 Super Bowls, and I think they won 3 NFL titles. So that's 5 titles in 9 years. That's exceptional. But again, there was no free agency going on. So for Coach Belichick, I would have to say he's the GOAT. For me, Skip, now when it comes down to quarterback, you know what? Remember, you heard it here first. I'm going to have to get, the man is in his 8th AFC title game. Joe, I'm sorry.
You're giving it up?
Tom has put you over, you in the catbird seat.
Really?
You ain't in the driver's seat anymore.
Really? Are you trying to jinx Tom Brady?
No, I ain't trying to jinx
what's
him.
going on?
I ain't trying to jinx him.
Really?
I mean, it's unbelievable what he's been able to do.
Wow.
But for me, Skip, it's hard for me to put anybody in front of Lawrence Taylor and Jerry Rice. Because and for me...
Yeah, because he's saying not just quarterback, as Mr. Kraft.
Right,
he's saying player.
And Skip, you covered both guys, and you covered LT in his prime.
Did I?
LT made 2 positions famous. He made the linebacker famous because once he did what he did, LT was not only Defensive Rookie of the Year, he was also Defensive Player of the Year in his rookie season. And he's the only defensive player other than Alan Page to win the MVP, Skip. So he made everybody say, you know what? I need me an LT So let me go get a Cornelius Bennett. Let me go get a Derek Thomas. Let me go get a Von Miller or Khalil Mack. But he also made the left tackle famous. So the Washington Redskins, they go get Joe Jacoby and Jim Lachey. The Minnesota Vikings go get Gary Zimmerman. The Rams go get Irv Eatman. Yep. If you did not have a left tackle, you could not beat the New York Football Giants.
Yep.
So for me, I go back and forth between Jerry and LT. But if you make me pick here today who's the greatest NFL player in the 99-year history, I'm going to say Lawrence Taylor. Forget Skip. Now, we know what he's done off the field.
I don't care.
But,
I don't care.
Okay.
Just keep it on.
Well, that's it.
I don't care.
I'm going LT.
Okay.
I'm going LT.
Okay.
I have nothing but awe for LT or for Jerry Rice, for that matter. But Tom Brady obviously plays a position that is far more valuable than rush linebacker or wide receiver. It just is. It's hard to fill it. It's hard to find it. And this one's played it for 19 years at the highest level. And that's why Robert Kraft, you can say he's not objective, but he just broke it down, because the one thing that I have tried to fight with you on is there's so much more to Tom Brady than just throwing the football.
Oh, I believe it. I believe he's a great leader.
He is a great leader, and Mr. Kraft broke it down, because he starts off with, for someone double his age of some of the players to be able to lead like that, connect like that, have the work ethic like that, and at the same time be so pleasant. And the great Troy Aikman said on Fox earlier this year that in all of his years of doing the Saturday evening sessions with the quarterbacks, that every time he's dealt with Tom Brady, he's just always in a good mood. And it's hard when you're playing that position as the face of the franchise, if not the face of the league, to always be upbeat in a good mood.
Because sometimes, Skip, you just want to go to your hotel, you want to go to your room, or you want to go hang out with family. Sometimes you have family in town, you just want to go with them. But he's always...
He's just the same. And as Mr. Kraft said, he's the same guy he was when I first met him, when he was walking off the practice field and Brady was coming in. I don't know why he's carrying a pizza box under his arm, but he said, Mr. Kraft, I'm Tom Brady, and I'm going to be the best decision you ever made as a 6th-round pick. Well, he just, okay, well, that's about as arrogant or outrageous as you ever hear Tom Brady, and he said it to his owner.
Mr. Kraft might have said, I don't know, Tom. I mean, you've been great, Tommy, but I think purchasing this team might have been...
All right, so then Mr. Kraft continues to rave, and I know most people out there watching right now probably are about to vomit over these quotes, but Mr. Kraft says, Tom is such a genuine person. He's kind. He's polite to everyone. He's a very caring person. Trust me, that translates in the locker room. That's why our man James Harrison said he went in skeptical last year, and after a few days of watching him behind closed doors, he finally said, this guy's legit. He's 100% real.
Oh, I believe, Skip, that he's very easy to get along with. I think because you listen to the music that they play, you know, I follow Mike Reese, and he have the playlist that they be playing at practice. So, and Tom, like, okay, he gets into it too. So he's able to connect, because Tom doesn't have a whole lot in common with a lot of these guys, because like Mr. Kraft says, he's 41, some of these guys are 24, 25. Tom Brady was in the league when these guys weren't even thinking about the NFL.
That is correct.
So for him to, but the thing is that I think I like about Tom, and the thing that John Elway, my quarterback, was, no matter what, we could be shooting dice, we could be playing cards, and he would come in, what y'all doing? Okay, deal me in. Or hey, let me get in.
But you know what? John had this edge to him. He had jock mentality to him, because he was at heart, he's an athlete, man.
Yes, absolutely.
And he was a much better overall athlete than Tom is, so he considered himself one of the guys.
Yes.
Tom knows he's not as athletic as just about anybody in the whole locker room, right?
Right.
He just knows how to throw a football and play quarterback at the highest level, and he's going to be clutch. And that's my deciding factor here over LT or Jerry Rice. Do people lose sight? I think they just get sick and tired of Tom Brady, but I keep saying he's the clutchest performer we've ever seen in any sport. And you know how big a Michael Jordan fan I am? Tom's just had so many more chances to be clutch, and nearly every time he comes up, all-time clutch. What did he do? He led the game-winning drive against the St. Louis Rams in his first Super Bowl. Second Super Bowl, game-winning drive. I know these are field goal drives, but he led it. He marched them down the field to beat the Carolina Panthers. And then he led the game-winning drive with 2 minutes to go against Eli, and you know the rest of the story. But he did what he was supposed to do to put them ahead 14-10. And then we come to Seattle. That's the Legion of Boom. It's 124 yards passing in the fourth quarter and 2 touchdowns, and saved Belichick that day because Belichick couldn't stop Russell Wilson, right? Until you say Pete Carroll stopped the Seahawks. Yes. But still, Brady was sensational that game. Then he digs Belichick out of a 28-3 hole against Atlanta in the Super Bowl by throwing for 246 in the fourth quarter and overtime. That's off the charts. Then at least he applied deodorant to the stinker that Belichick gave us in the Super Bowl last year of 41 points to Nick Foles because Brady did for 505. Yep. That's the most yards ever thrown for in any playoff game in the history of the league, and it was by Tom Brady in a Super Bowl loss. But he hung 33 back on